No, you hit something that hit me, and I was very concerned when you said it. And then as you talked about it, so I want to talk about it here too.
Yeah.
Liars.
Yeah.
Your discussion there, and then, well, share that with us. How did you go? Yeah, just share with us because that was kind of to the point, poignant, and then made me stop to really think.
Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, like, and that I actually mentioned that in my second TED talk. At the end of the day, the only thing a criminal hacker is going to do to you is lie to you. I am paid by corporations essentially to show them where their vulnerabilities are. And that means oftentimes I have to social engineer. I have to lie to people to get them on my side. Meaning, if I'm going after you, Glenn, for example, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to research you. I'm going to figure out that, oh, you did go to Harvard class or whatever, et cetera. That's what we do. And if we really have a desire or need to break into you, that's perfectly fine. Now, a lot of these are very basic. You get those emails that are like, oh, IT says, please, change your password, click here. A lot of those things are easy to spot. But at the end of the day, the only thing we're trying to do is fool you. Conversely, you are extending trust into the products that you buy. Let's say you buy a router for your house, or you buy an Apple phone or a Samsung, or take your pick.
Mm.
You're extending a trust relationship into that manufacturer, that they're going to keep that phone up to date. They're going to keep it secure. When vulnerabilities are found, they're going to turn patches and updates around for those vulnerabilities quickly. When you walk into a big box retail store, or your local home fix it store kind of thing, you're extending trust every time you give them your credit card. You are trusting that they are going to handle your credit card information securely. And we've seen the opposite, where people get lax, or things are missed, and then we have 80 million credit cards get hit, like in the case of Home Depot. Same with Target, same with a whole bunch of others. They
Yeah.
learn from those mistakes, they move on. What we are fighting against in cybersecurity, always, 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 is complacency. It is our biggest problem that we have, is that humans get complacent, organizations get complacent, IT departments get complacent, and it's something that we in cybersecurity simply just cannot afford to do, because that's when we drop the ball. That's when we get everybody hit.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I want to push that a little bit more because you said in your talk, you said that and I forget the research you quoted, but it says something along the lines of that we lie on average twice a day.
Yes.
And us lying to ourselves also helps people destroy our security.
Yes. Well, and I think, and that for the record is a study done by Psychology Today.
Yeah.
That's where that came from. Just for the
Thank you.
record, I did not make
Yeah.
that up. You can go
Yeah.
Google that. Um, Understand though that lying to yourself, depending on the circumstance, isn't necessarily a bad thing. So if you read somebody like Malcolm Gladwell, for example, he talks about, because he used to run track when he was living, I think it was in Jamaica, one of the Caribbean islands, I think it was Jamaica, where you basically, if you know that you're in the lane next to Usain Bolt, you have to convince yourself that you're going to beat the fastest man on the world. You know what I mean? You have to lie to yourself, whether it's true or not. You are psyching yourself up. There are positives to essentially lying, but lying to yourself in other ways basically means that you're susceptible to the reception of a lie from somewhere else. Meaning, if it seems right to you, and somebody is reinforcing that, there's another thing. So for example, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there, understand for the record, and let me preface this with this: there's misinformation and there's disinformation, and disinformation turns into misinformation very quickly. Disinformation is an actual attempt, a knowing attempt to deceive, to put out information that is going to sway people or a population against one thing or the other. Misinformation are those people that see this, basically it confirms their bias, it's confirmation bias, and then they put it out thinking it's legitimate and it's urgent in some way, shape, or form. And that is essentially, if we were talking about lying, people are unknowingly lying when they are putting out misinformation. And here we are, and that's how things essentially go viral, if you will, in the misinformation, disinformation world. And again, I'm not talking, you doesn't have to be politics or COVID or anything like that. This is as old as time. Misinformation,
Yeah.
disinformation is as old as society itself. And so these are things that we have to look for. So that ties into lying, in the sense that if we are lying to ourselves, meaning we are putting our heads in the sand to ignore problems, meaning we're not going to research that misinformation, or I'm just automatically assuming everything around me is completely fine and safe and all good, we're doing ourselves a disservice. It's not the same as me saying I'm the best in the world because I can beat Usain Bolt. maybe if I dropped 800 pounds and practiced,
Yeah.
I could
Started over at
probably,
age
right,
2 running.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
probably still be at the starting gate, but at least I'd have a better shot,
yeah.
But
Yep, yep,
people
yep.
will psych themselves up. I'm the best in the world no matter what, and they'll perform better. They will. It's